Tractate Bava Batra, page 166. We'll start at the Mishnah 165b. I know we need to catch up. It's the weekend time with many people away, so it's good to be back. Let's start directly with the Mishnah. The Mishnah dealing with a contradiction or something that is ambiguous when it's come to documentations. Katuv bo, here you have a document that looks like a little bit vague, unclear, and it's written Zuzin mea de'inun sla'in esrim ein lo ela esrim. So basically it's written here in this document 100 dinars, which are 20 sela. So in a way it can understand in a few ways. So the Mishnah said, in order to avoid misunderstanding, we make it straight, and we said it's only the lower amount, which is the 20. Why? We have in general the concept of hamotzi mechaveros, and you see many times if you have the claimant and you want to get something from others, you need to have the burden of proof to prove that it's more. But if it's written in a document zuzin me'ad inun tlatin sla'in en lo ela maneh, but if it's written 100 dinar, which are, and you can convert the dinar to other currencies, just the point, which are 30 sela. So therefore the one who holds the documents has this right to claim 100 dinars. Again, this is the same scenario that we're talking about, the lower amount of the two amounts. Kesef zin dinun benimchak ein pachot mishtayim. If you have silver dinars that are and remaining are basically was erased, so we have no less than 2 dinars. כסף שלהם דינון ונמחק אין פחות משתיים, דרכונות דינון ונמחק אין פחות משתיים. So here is a different language. דרכונות, for example, the מפרשים said that it's based on the pasuk in Ezra chapter 8 that deal with that a matbea. It's basically currency that made out of gold. In other scenarios, כתוב בו למעלה מנה ולמטה 200, למעלה 200 ולמעלה מנה. So if it's a written different amount, the top of the document, the bottom of the document, you go by the bottom. It's a general term. We're going by, because we figure out if it is a change of mind, you always go by the bottom. Thank you. But in Ken, lama kotevim elyon, the air conditioning here, it's amazing. Too much, right, for everyone. למה כותבים את העליון? שאם תמחק עוד אחת, it's okay. שאם תמחק עוד אחת מן התחתון, ילמד מן העליון. So if one letter erased from the lower part, we can learn from the upper part of the document. So the Rashbam and others, Tosfot, basically said that people sometimes not only forge documents, as we learned in the past, but in general terms, you go by the end, the way that it's written at the very end. That's אות אחת. The Rashbam said, אם לא כתב אות אחת. But anyway, תנו רבנן אמר, אין פחות מכסף. If he said the idea of silver, so you figure out אין פחות מדינר כסף. There is no less than a silver dinar. If he said כסף דינרים, דינרים כסף, אין פחות משני דינרים כסף. So again, it's all by statement that we construe, we understand this amount that refer to a lowest amount. כסף בדינרים, אין פחות משני דינרים דהב כסף. So if he says silver in dinars, so you to figure out that is 2 golden dinars worth of silver. אמר, מר כסף אין פחות מנר כסף, ואם הנסחה, so maybe you say that it's a small piece of silver. So he said, אמר רבי אלעזר דכתיב במטבע, use the language of coin. So because it's a coin, you figured out that that's the proper estimate. ואמרי פריטי, so why you say that a smaller coin is a פרוטה? אמר רב פאפא ברתא לא עסק בפריטי דחספא. We talk about the place that the silver פרוטות do not circulate. תנו רבנן דהב אין פחות מדהב דהב. דהב דינרים, דהב דינר דהב, אין פחות משני דרים זהב. דהב בדינרים, אין פחות משני דרים זהב דהב. אמר מר דהב אין פחות מדינר זהב דהב. So if it's said that a document someone owes a gold, the amount must be no less than golden dinar. Eiman ascha. So I say that it's a small piece of gold. Rabbi Elazar the ktav matbea. Rabbi Elazar said with the word coin is written the document. Page 166. Ve'ema pritei. So what about the intent is not dinar but smallest, which is the prutot. So people do not make this type of prutot that made out of gold. Zahav dinarim pachot mishne darim kesef. Zahav. So if you talk about the gold in dinar, is no less than 2 silver dinars worth of gold. ואימא דהבה פריחה בתרי דינרי דהבה כאמר אמר ביד בעל השטר על התחתונה. Says the whole of document is in a disadvantage. So the ratio לקטן כסף בנדרים פחות משני דרים זהב, כסף אמי. So why you say that speaking about silver only? So he said, אימא כספה, you have 2 silver dinars worth of silver pieces. דינרי, בתרי דינרי, נסחה בתרי דינרי כספה כאמר. אמר רבה שרשע דכתב דינרי ספר דכתב דינרים. The first one he wrote dinar, which means dinare, that's specifically golden dinar, and the last part he said that it's a gold, which is the plural, silver dinar specifically. Umna temra deshan ben dinare le dinarim. How do you know there's differentiation between words of dinare le dinarim? Titania, isha she'ola safek 5 lidot. So here we bring a Gemarrah in Kritut, page 8, that speaks about women, that we have a situation of uncertainty. We're not clear if it was a 5 birth, and likewise women who have uncertainty with regard to 5 irregular discharge of blood from a uterus, which is the ziva, 5 ספק זיוות, מביאה קורבן אחד ואוכל זבחים. She bring 1 offering and she can partake of the zvachim, of the meat offering. ואין השאר עליה חובה, and the rest is not obligatory upon her. היו עליה 5 לידות ודאות. If it was 5 definite birth, 5 זיוות ודאות, מביאה קורבן אחד ואוכל בזבחים. She bring 1 offering and she can eat from the offering, from the meat. והשאר עליה חובה, and the rest is obligatory upon her. So it was an incident where it was a pair of birds, it's called kinig, a nest. So stood in Yerushalayim golden dinarei zahav, which is a great demand for birds for the offering at that time for women that they deliver a child, and zava led to an increase of in the price. So he said, I take an oath in this abode, divide providence, that I will not sleep tonight until the price of nest will be dinarim. נכנס לבית דין ולימד, האישה שעולה 5 לידות ודאות, 5 זיוות ודאות, מביאה קורבן אחד ואוכל בזבחים, ונשאר עליה חובה. So basically he did it in order to reduce the price. So there is a book, so called Megedei Chaim. He challenged the Rashbam. The Rashbam said, "Beit HaMikdash nishba," that he took an oath in the Beit HaMikdash, in the Holy Temple. So in his book called Megedei Chaim, Chelek Gimel Kuf Tet Zayin, he said, "V'gdola hi atmiya lichora." It's a big question here. איך יכול אדם להישבע על דבר שאין בידו? How a person can take an oath for something that is not holding in his hand, that he doesn't have it's substantiated in his hand. So he said, ואף אם יפתור את ההתחייבות יותר מכן אחד, אבל הרי הן מיעוטה, או דמיעוטה, בכלל נשי ישראל, אז יכול לכלים. That's the minimum amount. So he brings, at that time it was many women that brings, and you have all his shita, what exactly happened and how things happen in a certain way. 166, ועמדו קינים בו ביום ברביעתיים. So obviously the result of that was the price of the nest stood that day at 1/4 of silver dinar. So it's clear that the term dinrei speaks about very high value than the term dinarim. כתוב למעלה וכולי, תנו רבנן, למד התחתון מעליון באות אחת, אבל לא בשתי אותיות. So obviously you learn from the top to the bottom. Above, if the lower text is missing 1 letter, but not is missing 2 letters. So if you have any type of discrepancy between information written above and below, so the document is not valid. כגון חנן מחנני וענן מענני. Obviously they use here an example that can go in a different direction, but soon you see others. מה ישנה 2 אותיות דלה, דילמה מתרמי שם בין 4 אותיות, אבל לפלגה דשמע, maybe you have something that have 4 letters, and the 2 letters half of the name. יהיה אחרי אות אחת נעמד דילמה מתרא משם בין שתי אותיות ואבל לפלגה דשמע. אלא שתי אותיות היינו תמה, דילמה מתרא משם בין 3 אותיות ואבל לרובה דשמע. So you have the 3 letters and you talk about the majority of the name. So here you talk about any place that you have 2 letters missing. אמר רב פשיטא לי ספל מלמעלה וכפל מלמטה, הכל לחכר התחתון, they all go by the information below. מה רב פאבא, כפל מלמעלה וספל מלמטה מאי, לא חשין לזוז עולה, תיקו. So again, we don't go to the small detail, but the idea is, if it's a situation like that, the little fly came and changed it. So Rabbi Yonatan Shita Mekubetzet, the Sma and many others, and you deal with when you have Kav Yashar, you see the letters Kuf, Samech, etc. ההוא דאבא כתב באישית 100 וזוזה, שלח הרב שרר ומקמל באישית 100 הסתבר בזוזה, ודילה שילמה פריטה בזוזה. So what exactly involved here? He says if it's a 600 Easter of dinar, Easter is another name for Sela, it's basically the same as 4 dinars, or you talk about the 600 prutot and a dinar. Pruta is a small fraction of a dinar. אמר לי דל פריטי דלקיד ובשטר דעשו כמסכן לו. So since we would not write large number of prutot in document, they instead combine them into large denominations. So here we have the Rambam. The Rambam said in Ilchot Milveh Veloveh chapter 27, you see also in Choshen Mishpat 42, if a document lists an amount of money described with a number without citing a denomination, the local custom determines the meaning of the document. For example, if you have a case that cites the Gemarrah where the documents stated 600 dinar, and a possibility that denomination is prutot, can be used out, that's basically the customer to record a large sum of prutot, but in order to express such sum in terms of large denominations, so the higher and the lower remaining possibilities are 600 Istra and 600 dinar, and the lower of the two values is followed. But you see more in the Choshen Mishpat 42. 167, so basically the Rashbam explained when you talk about large amount of prutot, so he writes it in the term of dinarei kesef, and it's basically 192 prutot to every zuz. מה אמרת שית 100 הסתר וזוזה, שית 100 וזוזה וחזוזה אחרי יד בר השטר לתחתונה. So you have this type of situation, so you have a very basic principle, and the principle is that the whole of the document is disadvantaged and the lesser of the two value is assumed.